he's there.
Yeah, absolutely. And knowing that he's about to get popped, you got to remember.
The sounds of a big hit.
Woo, baby. That'll wake you up. Whoa, great catch, great throw.
Broncos defense passing out headaches. Jeff George stands in, lofts the ball down to Hester against double coverage. They're trying more to get the ball to Hester now, who'd been quiet. He had over 100 yards in receptions last weekend against the Cleveland Browns.
See, Hester needs one. Keep his streak alive. Of course, George is in the game to extend the zone, so we got to expect him to go downfield. He's got to score quickly. So we'll see him go at more receivers now than backs and tight ends like Trudeau was doing.
Draw play, and going with the ball is Anthony Johnson, and he crashes inside the 20 and down to the 17-yard line with 5:15 to play. Stopped by a first-year safety, Darrell Hall.
Anthony Johnson has got some big-time talent. Over 1,000 yards last year. You don't hear too much about him because the Colts had such a tough first half of the season, but finished up strong. A lot of talent.
He's quick, Anthony Johnson, and he gets the ball a lot. He rushed last season for 592 yards, and he caught passes for 517 to go over 1,000 yards in offense. He was the most productive Colt. Swing pass. Ooh, Anthony was looking at the defense and not at the ball. Incomplete, 2nd and 10.
And see, that's the result, a direct result of the hard hits that the Bronco defense put on receivers and running backs when they catch balls. You start peaking just a little bit. He's upset with himself because that's one thing you don't want to be accused of is, you know, looking for the hit before you catch the ball. That's one of the first things they teach you. Catch it before you run with it.
Down to 4:36 to play. George gets time running out of it. Here's a throw. Too much on it. It's picked. A skip ball, and Dennis Smith picks it off. On the run is the 13-year veteran from Southern California. And he gets a standing ovation as the Colt threat is stopped. One of the downsides of a super strong arm. The ball skipped like a rock off a pond.
Take a look at Simon Fletcher from the outside, almost getting there to extend his streak, but forcing George to get rid of a ball very quickly. He's about a step away, but that wasn't George's fault. That came off of the wide receiver's hand.
Dennis knows what to do with it, too, when he catches it. John Elway, his work well done today as he had led the Indianapolis Colts down to a loss that they've never won here. They'll be 0-5 at Mile High, and Elway and the Broncos continue their dominance on the home field. This will be their 19th win at Mile High in their last 21 home games. Maddox hands off to Delpino, and he breaks it up the middle. He's ahead for a first down. Now let's go to NFL Live in New York and to Jim Lampley. Jim?
All right, Don, introducing a brand new contender in the AFC West. Here's Rick Meyer throwing 18 yards to Kelvin Martin to make it 31-7 Seattle. Meyer today, 24 of 39, 276, 1 touchdown. Seahawks win for the 3rd straight time. First time since 1990. They are arriving, Don Crickey.
Yes, they are. And Rick Meyer, he's the talk of the league right now. As a rookie, graded out in the top half of the AFC quarterbacks through the first 3 games he played. Talked about him being in a Montana play-alike, and he's been that. A great rollout thrower as Delpino breaks it and comes inside the 30. And the Broncos now with the Colts on the ropes keep delivering knockout runs.
John Elway told us that Delpino had great instincts and he runs very, very hard. Look at that skip break. It's very hard to make a 90-degree cut when you're running full speed. He did it, and then look at the power. Boy, I tell you, He told us he was going to get the ball. He's getting the ball, and he's making the best of it. 72 yards rushing. How about that?
Get it some more. There's some strange material being. What is that stuff flying down there?
That's the string of a king.
Here is a handoff straight ahead, and the marker comes in. Referee fired that in after the play. Holding call against the Broncos. 2:49 to play. The weeks ahead for the Denver Broncos will be interesting as Dale Hamer.
Holding number 75 of the offense. 10 yards.
Call.
Repeat first down.
And Ryan Habib. Next week at Green Bay, then the Raiders come to Mile High, an open date, and Seattle comes in, and all of a sudden, as Jim Lampley was pointing out, Seattle is a team you have to look at as a contender. 3 straight wins, they go to 3-2. In November they head to Cleveland, have the Vikings come in here. First down and 20 for Tommy Maddox and the Denver Broncos. 3 yards in a pile of dust. Woody Hayes would have loved this as the Broncos just looking to run the clock with their commanding lead 35-13. Indianapolis takes on Dallas next week. Open date on October 17th for the Colts, then on to Miami, then home to play New England, off to Washington, then the Jets come in. Tough scheduling for the AFC East because they have to hook up with the NFC East, which might be the best division in football.
Ted Marshall knows exactly what the Broncos are trying to do. Just run the ball. They'll be handing it off unless they just have to pass, running out that clock.
Delpino keeps pounding away. He keeps getting stuck, though, at second base. And that'll do it. The 2-minute warning is given here at Mile High Stadium. Hager, wrinkle-free cotton super play of the game, and it was a super one as Elway takes the snap.
And one of the oldest trick plays around, the old reverse, and the nice throw by the former quarterback Arthur Marshall into Derek Russell for the touchdown. A great play that stopped every thought of a Indianapolis momentum change.
Arthur was a top high school quarterback in Georgia, then went on to be a third-team All-American receiver at the University of Georgia, and today he becomes a quarterback again to put the knockout punch on. That made it 35-13 where it now stands. Delpino's big assignment here is stay in bounds. He does, gets it down to the 25-yard line.
Smart cut by Delpino, and when he turns it north and south, he really turns it on. He's approaching 100 yards and doing exactly what he's supposed to do here in the waning moments.
A big rushing day for the Broncos. That's been important, Beasley.
You know, they said they wanted to improve the running game. They got the ball to a lot of people, 186 yards on the ground, and you do that with John Elway at quarterback, you can win any game.
That's just about 3 times what they've been averaging per game. They've been averaging only 64 yards a game. 4th down run. They just look to run the clock. And the Colts will take over with 1:11 left to play. While their offense comes out, we'll take this break.
Did you reserve the car with her?
Not exactly, but it's a good deal.
Are they
At Mile High Stadium, Broncos closing in on a victory. Right now, Jeff George fires in the flat to Jesse Hester. Tries to split 2 defenders and cannot. Game clock ticks on down close to 1 minute to play. That was Jesse's first catch of the day.
The Denver defense will allow Jeff George to just throw the ball underneath, come up and try to make a tackle. Looks like Fletcher will not get his sack unless he comes up with something real big now. Of course, he's got a streak of 10 consecutive games, best and first time ever in the NFL. He's got 2 or 3 more rushes to get one.
Second down coming up. He needs 4. 4-man rush. Downfield throw a bit too high.
Fletcher was so close, and he's been close on 2 or 3 tries today, and you know he's thinking about it right now. He knows that it's just about over. Watch this. Comes around the corner, the shoulder slap uppercut, and just a half step away.
That gives us a chance to tell you that the executive producer of NBC Sports is Tommy Roy, the coordinating producer of NFL football, John Faratzis. Today's game was produced by John McGinnis, directed by John McDonough. NFL Live produced by Ricky Diamond. NFL Live directed by Kelly Atkinson. Handoff goes straight ahead. Gain of only about 3. Technical directors Jimmy Johnson and Richard Sansevier, and we thank them all as the Denver Broncos, after a non-playoff season a year ago, looking like a contender again. Tremendous effort. They came out of the blocks as fast as you can come out of them. 4 possessions, 4 touchdowns. Wade Phillips has to be well pleased. It gets tougher next week. They go on the road. John Elway in his 11th year, playing better than ever. Final numbers up, 35-13. Broncos are the winner. We'll be back to Mile High in a moment. Good finish is usually ensured by a fast start like that one, Beasley, and you have to really admire the way the Broncos played. I mean, they came in and took command of this game. They were disappointed after losing at Kansas City in their last game. They played great football when they had to.
They came right out on offense. They did not make a mistake. Every goal that they had planned as a unit, they achieved, both defensively and offensively. They wanted to improve the running game. They did that. On defense, they wanted to hold their opponent to less than 17 points. They were able to do that. This was just a beautiful performance.
Join us next Sunday as NBC Sports presents an NFL doubleheader beginning at 12:30 Eastern Time with NFL Live. Then most of you will see the Miami Dolphins go against the Cleveland Browns. Then in the second half of our doubleheader, most of you will see the New York Jets go against the Los Angeles Raiders. Check your local listings for the games in your area. Tonight on NBC, it's the all-new episode of Eyewitness Video.
Welcome to Green Bay, a beautiful autumn evening as the leaves have started to change. And welcome to historic Lambeau Field, one of the great settings of all of football. As tonight, the Denver Broncos make their first ever appearance in this remarkable stadium, the only NFL team to have never played here in regular season. It's the Broncos and Packers on TNT. Hi again, everybody. I'm Gary Bender. You know, the first quarter of the season has been a surprise for both of these ball clubs. The Broncos slumped to 8-8. They fired head coach Dan Reeves. New head coach Wade Phillips, a new offense, and 23 new faces figured that they would get slowly out of the chute, but that's not been the case. They are surprising 3-1. The Packers, on the other hand, were 9-7. They merely missed the playoffs, and they thought it was a breakthrough season. But they've started now 1-3, and the long-suffering Packer faithful hope the Pack is back, but they realize they haven't had back-to-back winning seasons since 1966 and 67. With me is Pat Hayden. And Pat, if the Packers are going to break this 3-game losing streak, they've got to have a big game out of Sterling Sharpe.
Well, he will be the featured guy tonight for the Packers. Now, you know, the Packer coaches came into this season, they said, you know, he caught 108 balls last year. They wanted to spread it around, but they got off to that 1-3 start, and they said, well, that's not working. And they said, he is our best offensive player, so who are we kidding? Let's get him the ball. Tonight, they're going to try to get the ball to Sterling Sharpe. And, Gary, it's easy to take away a wide receiver, so you're going to see him move around. They'll hand him the ball, but they need to get him the ball at least 10 times tonight.
Last year at the age of 23, Brett Favre made it to the Pro Bowl, but this year he's been struggling. He's had a tough time with the blitz.
Well, you know, it's funny about the NFL. Once you get a reputation for defensive coordinators about not being able to handle a blitz, you're going to see it week in and week out until you prove yourself that you can handle it. Denver's defensive game plan tonight against Brett Favre is to bring the blitz. They're going to bring safeties. They're going to bring linebackers. And unlike a mature quarterback like a Marino, where you might disguise a blitz, with Favre, they're going to show it to him early, and they want to see how he's going to react.
Well, his situation is further complicated with the fact they have a lot of injuries in the offensive line. They have 3 new starters.
Yeah, this is a major factor, I think, for the Green Bay Packers. Look at their lineup a week ago when they played against Dallas. You see, that's the Winters at left guard, Campen started at center, Robbins with the right tackle. Here's what's going to happen tonight. 3 new starters. Waddell goes to left guard, Winters shifts to center, and Sims at right tackle. And Mike Holmgren is very concerned. He says if we have an injury there tonight, we're in real problem because they're very thin there.
John Elway loves his new West Coast offense. He's been spectacular. He's completing 67% of his passes.
You know, this is Elway's 11th year, and statistically, this is his best season. And we talked to him yesterday. He says, I'm playing as well as I ever have because I feel confident. I'm loose. I don't have to, I feel like the pressure's off. I don't have to win the game the last 2 minutes every week because of all the weapons we have. And the other thing Elway said is my offensive line has played great, particularly my left tackle, Gary Zimmerman. They picked him up from the Minnesota Vikings in a trade, and I tell you, there's only 2 or 3 left tackles that you can leave out there all by themselves and not worry about your backside. Gary Zimmerman's one of them.
You're talking about all the weapons. They have a new weapon, and rookie running back Glyn Milburn. Some people are comparing him to a smaller Barry Sanders.
Well, this is a guy who's an exciting player, and, you know, he has the ability to make you stand up and cheer, does Glyn Milburn. Now, Wade Phillips said to us last night, you know, we need to get him the ball more. He's been kind of a nickel kind of player, a temporary player, but one of the keys tonight is the Denver Broncos getting the ball to Glyn Milburn.
Well, it's really a spectacular night here in Green Bay. Temperature at kickoff time, 43 degrees, and, of course, another sellout here in one of the finest places to ever come and see a football game. And the forecast partly cloudy, as we mentioned earlier. The leaves have started to turn, and this is a remarkable setting. Wade Phillips, who for 4 years was the defensive coordinator of the Denver Broncos. He was an interim coach way back in 1985 for the New Orleans Saints. He is 4-4 career, and he has an offense that's really catching everybody's attention out in the Colorado area. And Mike Holmgren, in his 2nd year, he's 10-10 career-wise. He was with the 49ers and brings some of that 49ers offense with him to Green Bay. Jason Elam will kick off. The Packers have won the toss. They'll start with a football. Brooks, who had a 95-yard return against Dallas, is on his way. Brooks to the 40, to the 30, and Brooks takes it all the way to the 22-yard line. That looks so similar to the 95-yard return he had against Dallas. This one went 68.
You know, Gary, we were talking to Reggie White yesterday and said, you know, our offense and defense haven't played very well, but if we play as well as our special teams, we have a chance. And the special teams, coached by Nolan Cromwell, have done a remarkable job this year for the Green Bay Packers. 2nd week in a row, we got in a row they've had a big return, a good key block on the wedge, and Brooks probably should have scored there.
And Brett Favre, who they hope to calm down a little bit. He is so pumped up, celebrating his 24th birthday today. He had a brilliant season last year. He went to the Pro Bowl, struggling with the blitz. He's been a little bewildered. We'll see how that develops tonight. He'll start things off by giving the football to John Stevens, and Stevens gets inside the 20, just inside the 20, to the 19-yard line. So Brett Favre, tough, good work ethic, strong arm, thought to be the cornerstone of this team for years to come.
And Mike Holmgren says our offense is a quarterback-driven offense. For us to win, our quarterback has to play very well.
2nd down and 8 for the Packers from the 19. Sharpe comes in motion. Favre looks at him, gets it to him. Sharpe makes the move, and he's very close to the 1st down. He needed to get to the 11.5-yard line. Now let's take a look at tonight's American Airlines starting lineups. And in that backfield, Bennett and Stevens, 2 big bruisers back there. Sharpe, who had 108 catches a year ago. Clayton, the former Miami Dolphin. And up front, we documented the changes. 3 new starters up front. And as Pat has said, it's awfully hard to have some continuity in that circumstance. 3rd down and a yard to go. It'll be Stevens. Stevens does not get the 1st down. He did not slam it up there. He tried to bounce to the outside. That may have cost him the 1st down.
Well, one of the inside linebackers, I think, stuffed the lead blocker, Edgar Bennett.
So it should be a 4th down. They're looking to the far side of the field. And Mike Holmgren has a 4th down, it appears, coming up.
And, you know, when you're 1-3, I think you take some chances like this, but you always ask for a measurement for a quarterback. You always want to know how far, if you're short at all. You want to know exactly how short you are.
Well, the Packers have been very successful this year on 4th downs. They are 4 of 5. And this could be awfully big in this football game if they wouldn't get it here, if they elect to go for it. I don't think they have it because Stevens didn't bounce it up. And there it is. You can see how short they are. Well, Mike Holmgren in his 2nd year, getting to make a big decision early in a game.
You know, it's a young football team. You're 1-3. You're playing at home. You go for it.
You can see how much they need. The Packers have had a tough time establishing a running game. They've had only 36 yards against Dallas. They were going to go more to 3 wideouts and a single back through the course of this game, but right now they got to slug it out.
And if you're a Denver defensive player right now, you don't get suckered into a hard count. No offsides, no easy first downs.
4th and 1.
4th down and less than a yard. Segura comes in motion, handoff to Bennett. Bennett fighting for it. I don't know. That was Dave Wyman, the former Seattle Seahawk, who was there to make the stop. We'll wait to see if they got the first down. The Broncos, Steve Atwater, said they didn't.
When you play against this Denver defense, you're not only playing against inside linebackers, you're playing against some safeties in Atwater and Smith that play like linebackers. Very tough short yardage team, the Denver Broncos.
There's the other guy you were talking about, Dennis Smith. Here comes the measurement. It's either going to be the Broncos football or first down at the 11. Oh, they got it by what? From our angle, you couldn't even tell it was so close.
Yeah, this is Edgar Bennett, and number 57, Dave Wyman, is the guy who gets in there first. I mean, 57 in the white jersey, and then it was Dennis Smith, the strong safety, again playing like a linebacker.
So Holmgren's gamble pays, and they have it first down at the 11. So that's 68-yard kickoff return, and now our first down at the 11 of Denver. Firing through. Shane Dronette, the left defensive end. Let's see if he was drawn off. Wasn't very subtle about it.
No, and I saw one official. It took him about 15 seconds to throw a flag. I was wondering what took him so long.
Not that cold there, is it?
No, he couldn't get double clutch. Couldn't get that flag out.
Larry Nemmers, our referee.
False start prior to the snap. Number 68, offense, 5 yards, still first down.
That is Joe Sims who's getting the starting call. There's Dronette along with Cragen. Oshiden, quite a story about him. The 2 outside linebackers, Kroll and Fletcher, are outstanding. And we talked about the safety, Smith and Atwater. Pat was saying they're like linebackers. 1st and 15 now after the penalty. It's the initial drive of the game. Favre got time. End zone broken up nicely. That was a play by Atwater. Atwater in the back of the end zone was Mark Clayton, the intended receiver.
You know, I think that's what makes Atwater an unusual player, in that he can play like a linebacker like we just talked about, but he's got some subtlety about him. He's got some finesse. He's got a feel for the game. You know, there's a lot of big hitters in the league, but few guys who can be big hitters and then turn around on the next play and make a subtle play like that. I mean, he is a unique free safety in the league.
Denver has not given up a touchdown in the first quarter of play thus far this year. 2nd down, 15. Favre to Sharpe. Sharpe, so strong, trying to wrestle further up the field. Tyrone Braxton never did get him down, and here comes a flag. Braxton was hanging on, and Sharpe, showing how strong he is, would not go down. So let's see what this is all about. Sharpe actually got about 3 yards.
Number 99 will go half the distance from the end of the run, first down.
Half a distance from the end of the run.
This is, let's look at this. It's Dronette who is involved in this.
Again, the thing that the yards after the catch are the key thing. The Denver Broncos.
So the whistle's blown here, I think. And so half the distance to the goal.
That's not a penalty. I don't know what they're calling a penalty on that for. They called it on Dronette, their number 99, but that shouldn't have been a penalty.
Well, what it does, it gives them a first down. half the distance to the goal, and it's at the 6.5-yard line.
One of the key defensive matchups too, Gary, is Tyrone Braxton against Sterling Sharpe. Somewhere in this game, Tyrone Braxton is going to bait Brett Favre and try to pick a ball off.
3 straight games the Packers have scored in the opening series. A lot of movement. They look like they'd like to come after Favre. That's what they want to show. Favre rolling far side. Completion to Sterling Sharpe. He's inside the 5 to the 3. It'll be 2nd and goal there.
Well, we said at the very beginning of this broadcast, the coaches of the Packers said, hey, we're not going to kid ourselves anymore and try to spread the ball around. We're going to get it to our best offensive player, that is Sterling Sharpe. And they've thrown the ball to him now 3 times. And then what they're really trying to do is get the ball to him out in the flat and have him break a tackle, because he is a very difficult receiver to bring down.
2nd and goal at the 4. Dexter McNabb in the backfield. Favre near side. Couldn't connect with Sterling Sharpe, and Tyrone Braxton was there. Braxton has studied so much film. In fact, he's going to kind of lull him into something. He'd like to pick off one. He has 2 interceptions already this year.
And Braxton was talking to us yesterday saying that, you know, I'm going to lay off Sterling Sharpe a little bit. I'm going to wait for Brett Favre to call a quick out, an audible, and then I'm going to jump the route. And if I jump it and intercept it, I'm gone.
So it's 3rd and goal, officially marked at the 3-yard line. It's actually between those areas, the 3 and the 4. This is Stevens, no place to go, so they come to a 4th down again, and that'll mean Chris Jackie to attempt the field goal. A pretty good defense by this Denver team after being stunned with that 68-yard kickoff return.
Yeah, the defensive team really did their job for the Denver Broncos. The special teams give up a big return. There's Ernie Stoddard, defensive line coach for the Denver Broncos. They did their job, their defense, forcing the field goal attempt.
Chris Jackie will come in and attempt a 23-yarder. He had hit 9 in a row before missing one last week. Out of the hold of Wagner, and they're going to hold this one up. Every flag out of every official's pocket came out of there at the same time. Seemingly, the Packers have had this ball forever. It's 10:36 left on this drive. Still don't have any points.
Prior to the snap, number 74, offense, 5 yards, still 4th down.
That is Doug Wydell, one of the 2 Waddell brothers who are playing in this game. Both of them getting the starting call. Dave will be starting at left guard when the Broncos get the ball. So this is going to back it up now. This will be a 28-yard attempt. Packers trying to take the lead at the 10:35 mark. Wagner holds, and the kick by Jackie is right down the middle. So Green Bay, with a 68-yard kickoff return, gets 3 points out of it. 3-0 for the Pack.
Charles Dimray stays here and then just tackles him. No yards after the catch. That's one of the key things for the Denver Broncos tonight. Sharpe is going to catch his passes, but you have to tackle him after the catch, and Dimray did a nice job of forcing him down. Otherwise, he breaks that tackle, he scores a touchdown.
You know what's significant? He only weighs 170 pounds. Dimray is undersized, but he certainly doesn't have a small heart. You can see that stuff. Jackie kicking off. Delpino along with Glyn Milburn back deep. And here comes the exciting rookie out of Stanford, bringing it up to the 20-yard line.
That wasn't so exciting.
No. So John Elway with his new offense coming in. He's having a lot of fun, very confident. He's been completing 67% of his passes. And all these numbers have really been going through the roof. He's always been a great talent, but very happy now.
Yeah, he is. And the idea, the concept of this offensive philosophy is get a 15-yard gain, Gary, without a 15-yard pass.
So the Broncos with their first snap of the ball game. Derek Russell will go in motion for Denver. Pitch to Rod Bernstine. Bernstine, whoa, hurdles his way into the arms of Leroy Butler. And dropped at the 27-yard line. Okay, let's take a look now at the American Airlines offensive lineup. We just mentioned Bernstine. Vance Johnson, who was cut, came back and joined this team. Shannon Sharpe, of course, that's Sterling's younger brother, and what a battle they're going to have this year. We'll talk further about that. Zimmerman, Waddell, the other brother. We have a dual family reunion going on here tonight. 2nd down and 4. Elway with a lot of time. Up the field. Tony Kimbrell, who's the fastest player on this team. You haven't heard much about him. He made 1 catch last week out of Jackson State. A rookie could not hang on. Defensively for Green Bay, they've had some people missing. And one of those guys is Bill Moss at nose. And he will not play tonight. They've lost Brian Noble to knee surgery. And also Tony Bennett has not signed. And this secondary, they think Leroy Butler is playing at a Pro Bowl caliber. And George Teague with his first start, the rookie from Alabama. 3rd down 4. Somebody in his face that time. Elway had some pressure coming, trying to hit over the far side the tight end Reggie Johnson. Incomplete. It brings up 4th down. And so the Broncos are 3 and out. And Tom Ruin will come in and punt. And Terrell Buckley, an exciting returner, goes back for Green Bay. 3-0 the Packers. 9:35 to go in the first quarter. Ruin hits it high, but not especially long. They're going to let it hit. And down by Kimbrell at the 35. And here's another flag. So Kimbrell was down there quickly after a 38-yard punt. But let's sort this one out. Ruin, the former Colorado punter. One thing about punting in this area is we listen now to Larry Nimmers.
By the kicking team player number 80, who was out of bounds, returned and was the first player to touch the kick.
2nd week in a row we've seen
Penalty
that.
is refused. 1st down.
We understand that one now, don't we?
2nd week in a row.
But I started to say, when you punt in the Central Division, you better be able to punt well, because the weather doesn't look as good as it does tonight.